What is good, family? This is your girl. I am Courtney Michelle. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of What?
Say what?
Say what? This is a show that we talk about everything that has been trending over the past week. It has been a lot. You guys know that I can't do this by myself. I had to have an all-star team. So I'm going to go ahead and bring them up now. You know her, you love her. She's the voice of reason, yet still a firecracker. Give it up for TJ Randolph. What up, TJ? What's going on?
Ain't nothing to it the way you do it.
Hey, you looking good.
Well, thank you. I'm trying to,
Are
keep
we
it
dressed
together.
alike?
I think we is.
We is. Well, wait a minute.
We're here. We're here.
Well, I got one more missing from the crew.
Okay, let's bring her.
She's beautiful, talented, and I'm so lucky to have her join us today. Give it up. I've been watching the old school show. Give it up. Okay, first, she's so lucky. What up?
You guys are hilarious. I'm like, dang, let me try to liven up my personality because
It's
I don't have a slogan at all. Yeah, no.
I just it's off the cranium. But
I was dry Sunday. It's God's day, so they say. But we're supposed to rest. But how is your Sunday going?
Yeah, technically,
That's a whole nother. I don't get into those days. I celebrate on Sunday. I know they say the Sabbath Saturday. Whatever. It is what it is. Just as long as you're praising, that's all I care about. However, y'all, we have a lot to talk about. And so I feel like we should just go ahead and get in. But before I do, I'm going to say what's up to some of the people I see in the chat. Hawk, my guy, Hidden Gems. What's up, Cortez? I see you. Chemo, my guy. Better you. What's going on, Barry? Man, we got the people up in here today already with the super chat. Thank you so much. Hey, Courtney, you are still friends with Richie Mack. I am. That's still my buddy. He DM'd me actually this morning sending me reels because we send stuff that makes no sense. So yeah, Richie Mack is my guy. All right, you guys. Y'all seen the thumbnails. We got a lot to discuss. Let's go ahead and get in it. So the first topic of today, we are going to talk about Miss Whoopi Goldberg. She has been in the news. Whoopi Goldberg tapes a video apology for saying gypped. I don't even know if I'm able to say it, but I'm saying it anyway. Okay. On The View. I am really sorry. Have you guys seen what's been going on with Whoopi actually over the past 3, 4, 5 months?
I follow some stuff because I love Whoopi. I just absolutely love her. She has made a stamp to me in my life is through her movies. So I'll give her the utmost respect. I don't think she's given it enough, but I've seen things such as what she said to Raven Simone, behind the scenes. Some people made a big deal of it all the way up until now. So I feel like she's under attack a little bit. You're micromanaged, so they find stuff. But yeah, I've been following it a little.
Yeah, TJ, have you?
I haven't heard this latest stuff. And again, I know that, because everyone's woke, everything you've got to, bite your tongue. But again, I think people are not considering her age, the things that we're used to saying, or she's used to saying, as opposed to just falling all over yourself. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, Whoopi has been over these past few months, of course, been on The View for years, but recently she's had a lot of things that she's had to apologize for. Now, before this particular incident, she was suspended from The View in early 2022 after she claimed the Holocaust was not about race, but she didn't immediately post an apology after that. So she had the Holocaust. She said it wasn't about race. She had to apologize. And now we're here for the word gypped. Do you guys know what that word is used for and why that would be deemed offensive?
I know it's used for ripped off.
Well, all right.
Well,
go ahead, Lucky.
No, I was gonna say, yeah, I was gonna say what TJ said, but also a lot of terminologies that I grew up on saying, that I wouldn't say, but sometimes because I grew up on that being the slang, I just say it. I'm not meaning anything, racial or anything, but just because that's not how you understood it does not mean that's not how a group of people who take it serious can take it. That's
Okay.
what I think.
I
But
got
the
you.
word
I
itself,
agree.
like people say stuff about us all the time. You know what I'm saying? We don't really, I don't know. Go ahead,
Yeah.
Chris.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and play what she said on The View. And then I'm going to follow it up by her apology. And then let's see what you guys have to think about that. Let go.
Got, gypped somehow in the election will still believe that he cared enough about his wife to pay that was gas. Pay, to pay that money from his personal thing. But I just don't understand.
So she was just in
Okay.
regular conversation and said, yeah, this guy was gypped and blah, 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 which I've used before. If someone, man, yeah, he gypped me out $5. Never
Yes,
knowing that was something to be apologizing for. Are we getting too sensitive with all this stuff?
we
I think
absolutely are.
it's a controlling thing because if you look at stuff like Family Guy, South Park, like if you look at things that we have seen, they get away with saying a lot of shit
Mm-hmm.
that we could say, like, why is it that in the show all the Hispanics are cutting grass? But is that not a fact that most of the time in neighborhoods, that's the larger group that own those businesses? You know what I'm saying? And regardless of the fact, can I not identify it as such? So it's just the same thing. If you grew up calling somebody scamming you gypped or whatever, that's what you grew up calling it. Why do we call it that? But you knew that wasn't the intent. I think we're so sensitive to try to hold people this obsession with accountability that we want to cancel you, make you apologize for it if we feel you fit some sort of area in entertainment that we don't really support. But other areas of entertainment can absolutely say whatever they want.
Yeah.
You know, like, I don't know.
Well, what is okay? So, what is the connotation associated with the word jibbed?
Well, I'm going to pull that up because, doing my little research, I was like, well, there's a lot of stuff that people are deeming offensive that we've used in everyday terminology. This is one. I didn't know it was offensive. So I'm going to pull that up, but let me show you guys her apology.
When you're a certain age, you use words that you know from when you were a kid or you remember saying, and that's what I did today, and I shouldn't have. I should have thought about it a little longer before I said it, but I didn't. And I should have said cheated, and I used another word, and I'm really, really sorry.
She's really, really sorry.
see,
She
that's
could
a
use
genuine
another
sorry.
word than gypped that we've been using.
So should she had to say duped? And I mean, it's just like the GAY word. When we were growing up, when you would use that word to describe something that's stupid, weird, you know what I'm saying? You would say that's GAY.
Yeah.
But then as you got older, you see that was offensive. Why do I have to? What if we said, that's so baby mama, that's so unmarried woman, that's so middle-aged woman, to describe certain stuff? You know what I'm saying? There would be a group of women that would be upset, but they can't be upset for a word that, that's
It's amazing how they're upset at that, but women can call each other bitches, and that's not offensive. I don't understand that for me. Because me personally, if you call me a bitch, we going.
But what group makes you feel? What group makes you apologize for it? It would have to be women, right? Who are offended by you saying bitches. If we not tripping about it, they can't be held accountable like that. Now, that's what I'm saying about us as Black people. The reason why she has to apologize is because somebody with some money that means some value to her stage she on, maybe it's a boss, whatever, is offended. So you need to apologize. You know what I'm saying? If you offend a Black woman, first of all, how in that magnitude to apologize, how many Black women are in positions of power? And then two, how many would you have to want to hold you to apologize?
Yeah. This reminds me of the basketball player maybe a month or two ago that had to apologize and got in trouble because he was in an interview. He said, no homo. Not saying that he was talking about or degrading anyone that is homosexual, but we say it in terminology. So yeah, she cute, no homo, or yeah, you cute, pause. That's just how we speak. But he had to, apologize for that. So let me bring this up, you guys.
Let me ask you,
yeah, go ahead.
real quick, or both of y'all. Do you think that they're trying to create the way we communicate with each other? Because if each culture has their own lingo that could be racist to other cultures, we all have them. We also have little stuff. I grew up, get your little nappy head self in the house, right?
Mm-hmm.
We say that, but if other people say that, or if they hear us saying it, you shouldn't say that because this inflicts blah blah. You know what I'm saying? But we understand that growing up did not affect me. I ended up loving. You know what I'm? It's just certain things that cultures have.
Well, let's take that for instance, because there was a radio star years ago that was talking about, I believe, a basketball team in Jersey, a college group of girls, black girls, and he called them nappy headed hoes. And this was a white man. I don't know if you remember, so this was years ago.
It was at Rutgers.
Rutgers, right. Rutgers University. And he called them nappy headed hoes. And that was a big ordeal, i.e., nappy headed coming from a white man. So,
but nappy headed hoes is offensive even to us together. If we call each other like that, be prepared to fight. So it's not something that, but it wasn't like you said. When we're saying that, like, how many times have you heard "get your monkey ass off the couch"? There's so many things that we've said.
I said it.
But that's what I'm saying. It didn't affect you in no way where you got to go to counseling. But that's how other cultures, if you go to entertainment or you speak live, they'll say you can't say this to each other. So that's why I asked, do you think that they're trying to even change the way we interact? That makes us different. Like
I do. My conspiracy theorist head is I believe in that people are wanting a new world order. They want one religion. They want one as far as political stance. And now we're policing terminology, how you speak, what you can and cannot say. You'll get canceled if you don't go along with the get along game. So absolutely. Yeah, I think all of this is one big part of an agenda. And her apologizing and embarrassing her off stuff that she had no idea about. Majority of us didn't know. I had no idea about. I just think it's silly.
We're in 2023, but I will say, for those seasoned heads like myself, George Orwell talked about this in his book 1984 that was written in the 60s, I think, 60s or 70s, talking about Big Brother, all that. That's where we are right now. And he foresaw that in late 60s, 70s.
Yeah, I agree. So let's play a game. Racist saying you should avoid. Now, I guess we'll first go with the word gypped, so people understand what it means if you don't and why it's deemed offensive. So gypped, like we already stated before, informal verb meaning to con or swindle someone. Again, I've said it before. Don't be jipping me out of nothing. You jip. Had no idea. But the word gyps comes from the word gypsy, which is, I always thought it was like a group of people. I think it's synonymous to women that I look at that's kind of bohemian.
I said gypsy.
Yeah. So, right. So it's the term is usually used as an offensive slur to refer to Romani people, the Roman, excuse me, I'm about blind and slow. So blah, blah, blah. So yeah, it's offensive to gypsies.
Because they had a reputation of being frauds and thieves. It's just like...
but did they though?
Yes.
That's the question. Did they?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's just like when you think of somebody finessing you out of hundreds of thousands of dollars online like women do, and they say they're helping someone in Africa. And we know, and then they develop a reputation to be Africans, gonna scam you. It's the same thing where it comes with Indians. You start getting so many Indian phone calls trying to scam you of your social security number or something where it's a thing, then people will start identifying that culture as such. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Just like we may have a reputation, the thug. Lock your doors.
Lock your doors.
you know.
Yeah.
So
All right. Eskimo. Did you know that that is a word that is deemed offensive?
Nope.
I knew that.
You did? I
Nope.
didn't know. I think I heard of it, but I didn't. I wasn't thinking,
Just
and then
like
I looked
midget.
into it. So for many years, people who lived in the Arctic have been called Eskimo. The correct term is usually Inuit. Although it depends on which Arctic people you are referring to, Eskimo is a endemism. Lord have mercy, these words. Meaning that it's a word used within a particular community to talk about themselves. However, in the past, non-native colonizers used Eskimo as a derogatory slur when talking about the Arctic communities. I didn't know. So I used to call the people Eskimos and didn't know it was a slur.
I didn't either.
Yeah, let's keep it going. Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. That word. So before we say eeny, meeny, miny, mo, catch a tiger by its toe. Well,
Nope.
back in the day, it wasn't tiger.
It was a nigga.
Catch a nigga by its toe. So that is deemed offensive as well. So you're not supposed to be saying that little nursery rhyme. Moron is an
idiot.
offensive slur.
An idiot. Yeah.
Well, yes. We say it because it's like you're an idiot. You're a moron. That's moronic. We say that, but it was a term deemed to offend immigrant people. So I had no idea that moron is an idiot. But no, they use that specifically towards immigrant people. So that is now considered a slur. So
It just teaches you how to use the word.
uppity. Now, I've said this before, it's some uppity Negroes, but it is a slur. And it was used back in the day with white people looking at, black folks that thought that they was a little too good, too big for their britches, all them uppity Negroes. But now it is deemed a slur to say uppity. And there was like more. Oh, let me see. I think I got one more. Cakewalk. Who knew? A cakewalk is a very easy task. Historically, a cakewalk or prize walk was a dancing competition among Black Americans enslaved on plantations where the contest prize was a cake. This is also where the expression takes the cake originated from.
So what this means is that Black people could actually make more people apologize, because I hear takes the cake a lot on competition shows.
Yeah. Oh, she took the cake. Oh, it takes the cake. Well, it's offensive to Black people.
Well, my daughter had cakewalks at her school when she was in elementary school at the carnival.
Schools is the first thing designed to teach. Don't let me get deep in here. They're the ones designed to teach that shit, especially the teachers. So they encourage. Where do you think these nursery rhymes and these games came from? The games were once dodgeball. Well, there was a saying, I don't know how accurate, but the dodgeball game wasn't even necessarily a ball. It was a Black person that they threw stuff at as a sport at school.
Well,
so
let's put that in the bag of being offensive. Mm-hmm. So if we look at, they call it what the study of words is like what is the word? The study of word etymology. Etymology, right? So are we supposed to look at the etymology of the word and to see if we can use it? Because if it started off offensive, then we can't use it, even though it didn't generate to be that. And as of now, is that what we're supposed to do? This is policing our how we speak. And if I didn't mean anything by it, like who talks about gypsies? I don't.
Yeah.
Nobody.
Yeah, but also, well, I think they're trying to control how we talk, but I also think it's educating us to know when to talk like that, if that's how you talk. Because I'm of the belief, if we're going to say we have to get rid of the original meaning of the word to be able to use it for other intent, then we'd have to do that with the N-word. That shouldn't be a trigger anytime there's a quote unquote Karen video and they know they can use the word to get a reaction. You shouldn't care. Because it doesn't have the same meaning. But, I think our group of people kind of do a good job with picking and choosing what words, because we don't accept that everybody, more people than not, probably use racial slurs, whether you in traffic and somebody cut you off, whether somebody pissed you off in public, or like you really do have responses that could be racial. And I see a lot of Black people quick to say something racial first, whether they know about it or not, you know?
So, what's funny is that in that clip where she said jibbed and then she had to apologize. Well, during that show, there was something else that happened that this person has not apologized for. And for me, it's more detrimental to the umpteenth degree. Jane Fonda was on there, joined the host and suggested murder in response to pro-abortion activists. Let's hear what good old Jane Fonda had to say.
Children to have. We know what that feels like. We know what that's done for our lives. We're not going back. I don't care what the laws are. We're not going back.
I think the women will rise up.
That's the activist.
That's Jane
speaking, and she probably will get a Nobel Prize.
But it's the truth.
Very soon.
It is the truth. We're not going to do it.
Besides marching and protesting, what else do you suggest?
Well, it doesn't happen overnight. It's not a miraculous. What did you say?
Murder.
She's kidding. Wait a second. She's just kidding.
Don't say that. That's
you don't know. They'll pick up on that and just run with it.
Worst.
She's just kidding. It's
well. Let me talk to you about. Let me ask.
That
So Jane Fonda said, "What should we do about pro-life activists murder?" And then you hear people clapping and giggling, and oh, she's just kidding. Jane Fonda didn't say she was kidding. She said they're very solemn, like. So she's advocating to kill people that are pro-life. Has she been canceled? No. Did she do an apology? No. She doubled down. Let me show you this. While women's reproductive rights are a very serious issue and extremely important to me, my comment on the view was obviously made in jest. Was it? Because I'm offended being pro-life.
Jane Fonda is in her 80s. She is used to controversy. I think they used to call her Hanoi Jane back in the 60s because she protests against the Vietnam War. Let me be honest. Jane Fonda don't give a damn. She got her coins. She like, fuck you. I'm saying what I said.
She said what she said. Yeah.
That's it.
Lucky, your thoughts? Should she have apologized?
And I loved her in Monster-in-Law. Okay. I was like, I'm a fan. So I hate when I connect to movies so much and I really be liking the people.
Yeah.
But I think we are at a time where if we can have Trump as president, and this doesn't mean that I'm against Trump because I actually agree with a lot of things that he say, but if he can represent saying such things and be our president where other countries are laughing at us, I think we kind of can't expect anything different from celebrities saying how they talk in their households. If we really want reality, people need to get more and more comfortable with how they actually talk so we can see people's genuine opinions and perspectives. This is genuinely how she feels. People don't want to take it seriously because you want to say, oh, she's just kidding because it was something so extreme. Instead of challenging her, you really think they should die? And that's where Whoopi Goldberg would have came in. Because I'm going to ask you, but then you represent the Black woman who always got it. You know what I'm saying? So on those type of shows, they clearly have certain messages that they want to push, just like news. You have the Republican channel, then you have the, more liberal channel. So everything, stuff like that, they have messages that they push where they want to cause an audience and a wave of people who support the same message.
I got you. TJ, you have anything else on that? I got you. Jane
No, I don't. I mean, it's just too much for me. We just mess well walk around with tape on our mouths because we can't say nothing.
You can't say nothing. You can't. And it seems like with now the new pronouns, and there are people currently saying that if you misgender me or mess up my pronouns, that's an act of violence.
Okay, hold up. On TikTok, there was a lady. I don't know what she was. I'll just say Shim. I don't know. But she went to get her car done or whatever. And the guy says, well, what can we do for you, young lady? Well, she said, I don't know if I should be offended. I know he didn't mean any harm, but he misgendered me. And Stop.
Policing our words. So
All you can say is, excuse me, sir, I'm whatever.
It's sick. That's what I'm saying. It's like first of all, you're trying to figure out what gender you are, and you're upset that I don't know what to call you. Right? That's how you could feel, because I've been in those situations where I wasn't trying to offend you. I just called you what you represented, what I thought you were trying to convey. And because you're dressed like a woman, even though I know you're, from my belief, I know you're not. And then it's like, I call you a woman out of respect, I'm still wrong. So it's like, whatever you're going through, bro, whatever,
bro,
you start to get confused. And you're not trying to be offensive. I'm trying to understand so you don't start attacking me.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's almost like you can't say nothing. And that's why I said they're trying to control how you talk, to the point where everybody had, like, I like that she said New World Order. That's the point. One world religion. Religion is man-made, and it's usually a system of groups of people. So how can we create a one world religion? We have to make all these people who say they believe these religions, we need to get them to, under laws, get them, no matter if they believe it, say what the hell we need them to say and think what we need, or else. Now we're starting with the canceling. What I ain't trying to be up here what I really think they're trying to do, but I think it's a lot deeper, and they do it through
TV. I definitely think it's a lot deeper. I think it's, if you can suppress a group of people and know that if they say something, even if it's how they actually feel, if they say something against the agenda, then we're going to have to silence them in any kind of way. So I agree.
And they have helpers.
What was that?
They have helpers, and people help if it means views. Like if it's more popular to talk about what's not the truth, like how we up here, this can take confidence, but if we would get a lot more of attention if we said what they want you to say.
Right.
That's just how I go.
So speaking of slurs, this story has been in the news for years, and it's comical to me. And what is going on recently now, I'm just like, this is just a shit show. Jussie Smollett. Lord. Now the men are now speaking, and the men allegedly hired by actor in the hate crime hoax is returning to the scenes in a documentary. Now, let me just go over. So for those that don't remember, back in 2019, Jussie Smollett approached a Chicago police department and reported a hate crime that he staged early that morning. He planned the hate crime with two Nigerian brothers who worked as extras on the show Empire, which Jussie was on and ultimately got fired from. The brothers said that they did racial slurs, homophobic slurs, poured bleach on Smollett, and they placed a noose around his neck. All this particular was a hoax for, back in 2019. If you guys remember that he ultimately got found of perjury and lying, and Jussie had to go to jail, I believe, for like 115 days. Now the people are suing, but Fox News came out with a documentary, and the brothers are speaking about what happened. Let me play. So much stuff out here. Let's hear from the brothers.
Better get that birth certificate.
Right. And a new interview with Bola and Ola Osundaro's attorney, Gloria Rodriguez. Why did they agree to carry out this attack for Jussie in the first place?
Jussie was their friend, and they didn't want to betray their friend. And so at the end of the day, it was their trust that was taken advantage of.
I was down to do it because if we do this for him, he could probably help us out with our careers.
Jussie was someone who could really help their career. And beyond that, he was their friend. The documentary goes into great lengths about their feelings and how they felt when Jussie asked them to beat him up.
Hitting Fox Nation March 13th, the series goes into timeline detail about the attack and how Jussie choreographed the whole thing like a script that he was directing. And the brothers take us back to the scene.
This is where we waited for Jussie to come before we attacked him. After I threw him to the ground, I used my knuckle and gave him a noogie to give him a mark to make it look real. That's where I came around with the bleach, the infamous bleach in the hot sauce bottle.
The original plan Jussie had was for one of the brothers to douse him with gasoline. And then I believe it was Ola who said, no, I'm not doing that. I'll do bleach instead. Why the stipulation? Why is one better than the other?
That's something that they also go into in the documentary, but their ultimate decision to participate in this is very contradictory to who they are as individuals. They would never, ever be involved in a hate crime like that.
What tips me off to the narcissism is when he's looking at Robin Robertson, he says,
and I want a little gay boy who might watch this to see that I fought back.
I mean, what delusions of grandeur, right? I mean, he is creating this entire fantasy where he is the hero in it.
The 5th episode of the documentary takes a deep dive into that very issue, Billy, and it's like cringeworthy.
When he first had told me about it, I was the only one in the car with him. I didn't know what to feel. I was flustered. I was like, wait.
That is one piece of
Damn,
chocolate.
am I gonna...
What'd you say, Lucky?
I said that is one piece of chocolate.
Is this doing the right thing if I agree to it?
That's doing a friend a solid. It's unfortunate that they couldn't see far enough down the road that you're also throwing a nation into turmoil.
The layers of so many different issues, politics and social, race, all of this power dynamic just kind of blowing up in a time in America where we're already so divided and there are already so many issues.
I remember the detective that put that footage together. We all both thinking, that don't look like two white guys walking down the street.
We was in character the whole time.
So you think you guys are believable white supremacists?
100%.
Do they feel a sense of remorse now? Did they then?
As soon as this had taken the circus status that it did, they immediately felt remorseful.
Jussie has always maintained his innocence.
I am not suicidal, and I'm innocent.
And last week, his attorneys filed an appeal challenging the hate crime hoax conviction. Did Jussie reveal an intent to the brothers as to why he wanted to do this?
You know, that is the million-dollar question.
Give me the million-dollar answer, Gloria, because I've got to know. This thing has been troubling me for 2 years.
I know. And the million-dollar answer will come from Ola and Bola Osundairo on the documentary.
Those brothers, let me say, I was watching the documentary and they are comical. I don't know if they really took it serious. They did end up apologizing to the American people, and I'll play that in a few. But what are your thoughts on Jussie? And don't forget what he called himself a while ago.
I'm the gay Tupac.
It's the gay Tupac.
Oh, really? Really? Oh, say what? You need to hit the button.
I'm the gay Tupac.
Say what? I mean, once he said I'm the gay Tupac, I died. What? You taking it too far.
He said what he said, Courtney.
I'm the gay Tupac.
Listen, I want to know, why are they choosing now? Why did they start speaking up? Because they said we were his friend and stuff. What I don't agree with is, don't paint them as victims. They knew what they were getting into. It's something where you start something, people start to want to forfeit because they see it's going left. But if it went as planned, would we know? So they knew what they were doing. Stop trying to paint it as if they're victims. They're not. They participated, and then just like any other snitch, they snitch. And
Yeah.
I just see, whatever, if it worked out, they would have been on the other side. You know what I'm saying? They shouldn't be looked at as victims, and he's just this villain. That's the part I don't agree with. They all lied. And he lied. He probably wanted to test his acting skills and really get whatever he thought, play the media because he's seen it done, but he just didn't execute it like the others. And this is the consequences. I don't like how they're making him a bigger example. You know what I'm saying? Other than I don't know. I still have this skin folk thing, so I just don't like how they're making a harsh example every time it's somebody black that lie or take drugs and they're in the sports. Like it's always extreme when it's our black ass.
Well, let me ask you a question because Amanda Seales, who I am not a particular fan of, said that Jussie Smollett, because of what he did, that she supported him. What was the word that she used? Like he was like a martyr for what he was doing, because even though it's fake and it was a hoax, he's bringing attention to the ills of the community. And she supported him. She said that he should just get a slap on the hand, that it wasn't that serious of how we're going into it. You don't think this situation is serious?
I think it's
Is that what you're saying, Lucky?
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Lucky.
No, I'm just saying, I get there should be consequences. I'm just saying it's always publicized and advertised differently. Like, you know what I'm saying? Maybe I'm very involved in the things that I follow looks more like the things that I follow with black people. Maybe that could be the case. I don't follow enough E-News or TMZ stuff, which I still follow it, but I don't really remember anybody of another culture or something like that, whether it was Michael Phelps getting this much shame for doing something that we're supposed to shame other people for, regardless of what it is. He lied. They lied to the media all the time. You can catch people in media in a lie and leading people different ways. And I don't know. I just think he created a scenario that did not go well. He should pay the consequences, but I don't get why they're looked at as victims and he's just the one that's getting smeared like that. At that magnitude, he should, but it's like,
no, I don't know if they're looked at as victims. I think because that they are now able to tell the truth, and Jussie is just still doubling down on the lie. It's like, you're exposed. We know it's fake, and the brothers are coming out and actually selling what they did, taking people to the place, and Jussie still has this kind of arrogance about the story and still saying
he refuses to acknowledge. But it's like, I don't know, like, why are you paying it? I don't know. I know so many people that be lying. We could see you not rich, bro, and you still, I got it. You know what I'm saying? People be living in their own delusion, and he want to create this scenario where he's ashamed. So I think we should just isolate him. You know what I'm saying? Why do we still care that much? Is my point. Where we still smearing it. You know what I'm like? We still, if he do something tomorrow, Jussie Smollett is at Starbucks. Liar Smollett. You know what I'm saying? It's just like, why are we following this man? We don't do that to nobody else's career as much. That is not our own.
Because
like
we're
Will Smith.
voyeurs. We are voyeurs. We like to look at people's lives. We are, you know, as a whole, we are voyeur, i.e., what do you call it? What do you call it? Real life TV? I don't know what to call it. Reality shows or whatever. We're voyeurs. You know, we like to look at other people's lives. And I think one of the things that makes it so egregious is that they use all these resources, the police resources, to look for somebody for a crime that did not happen. So
and they use the community for the LGBT community. So
every
are they the ones hazing them? Hazing him? Are they the ones kind of keeping him to the fire to be honest? Because it seems like that's what they're doing. They're going to keep shaming him until he's honest. Like, I don't believe he can have a successful career until he's honest and start to look like.
And he still hasn't been. And what Amanda Seales, it came to me. She said he was low-key noble. His actions and what he did, he was noble. No, he's a lie. And the thing is, what makes the story interesting, because we know that people lie. But this was a made-up fictional story of a lie. What celebrity do you know that creates this particular magnitude of a lie to hire these two guys to put a noose and is Magna Country nigger? I mean, it was the weirdest thing. Like, this was a story that doesn't happen. That's why I think it got so much attention, because it was like, well, why would you create this?
He wanted to touch every sensitive community or movement, it seems like, possibly.
But he's playing on something that's sensitive with gay people, with Black people. He's playing on our emotions, just like a lot of this Me Too crap that people are doing. So yeah, so now if gay people are feeling that way or Black people feel like they've been targeted, it's the Jussie Smollett. Are you sure? Is this a hoax? Like he puts two big communities
Yeah.
looking at us different because his little I am the gay Tupac ass is just
He put a lot. He cried wolf. So now if other people start, they would question. Yeah, I can see. Okay, I get it.
And at a time when, let's be honest, I mean, things were heightened anyway. Between all the the MAGA and white folks, Black folks. I mean, it was a tinderbox. So had that been true, I mean, people were bracing for riots, race wars, because again, it was already very heightened. Talk about gaslighting, if gaslighting was a person.
Yeah. So the two brothers who were paid by the actor Jussie Smollett, and they were paid $3,500 to orchestrate a fake hate crime, had a message for the country about its ramifications. They apologized for their role, and I'll go ahead and play that apology. Oh, and a little bit more of what they said in the documentary.
That's that neck. Stand neck. Get that neck. Oh, he's moving fast. Come on, let's get him. Get that neck. Let's get him. As we crossed the street, we said hey to get his attention. Hey, Nick. Hey. He turned around, looked at us, and that's when we started yelling the famous slurs he wanted us to yell. Hey, aren't you that Empire? Hey, Empire fat Nick. It's MAGA country. Yeah. And then he said, what did you say to me? And then that's when I threw the first punch at him. And then I threw him to the ground. And after I threw him to the ground, he had no bruise. I wanted it to look more real. So then I threw him to the ground. After I threw him to the ground, I used my knuckle and gave him a noogie. So I went like this.
The noogie part.
Why did I do that? To give him a scar, to give him a mark, to make it look real, like he really did get his ass beat.
I just want to apologize to everyone in the audience, the country, and anyone who might have been affected by this directly. When we were asked to partake in this, we really didn't foresee the ramifications of what something like this could do to the country.
You're sorry you participated in it?
Yeah, we allowed our ambition to cloud our judgments.
Were you getting paid?
It wasn't about the money.
Yeah, it was. What was it about for you then?
The opportunity.
Opportunity to?
We were actors, so
Jussie, we are actors.
We are actors, and Jussie, right?
I'm acting as a talk show host.
Do you want to do a hoax to me?
I'm hoping one day. Maybe I'll get there.
Is he wearing a MAGA hat?
He was in a position.
He is wearing a MAGA hat. The part that he said, the noogie part, I was like, y'all are now you being petty. But I think with for me, like I said, that it's out now, I think, with the documentary. But the documentary was interesting because you get all kind of aspects and they tell everything that happens, in the situation. And has Jussie said that this was absolutely incorrect or wrong? He hasn't made any statements afterwards, but we all know it's fake. And I just think he should just come out and be like, look, the reason why was this, that, or the third. I don't think there's any excuse, but when are we going to be honest?
Did they get white-faced and all this kind of stuff? Did they put on makeup to
No.
look like they were white?
No. So they staged it where they knew outside of his condo where there was going to be a camera. This was like 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. Now, mind you, back in the day, there was like a polar vortex. So it was extremely cold. It was dark. And so they had their backs to the camera. So you just see two big burly men. But even the police officer was like, you know how Black folks with our little, you could tell who's walking. They Black or white, usually. The police officer was like, we knew that these weren't white men. The gay Tupac. Now, what I did find out as well too is that what Jussie is deciding to do, he's not going to apologize. He is going to come out with an album. I was able to find a little bit of what he's going to be singing about. And I hope that YouTube doesn't flag me, but I got an exclusive. Is y'all ready?
The new album by Jussie Smollett, Gay Tupac, presented by Lucius Lyon and Lying Daniels on Pinocchio Records, available now, featuring hit singles such as Guy, I'm Mad at You.
Cause guy, I'm mad at you. Boy, I'm so mad at you.
Hit him up.
Courtney, what the hell is that?
I'm the gay Tupac.
What the hell?
Coming out with an album. And, you know, if you support Jussie, you should support his album. Because he is now.
I'm the gay Tupac.
What the hell? I don't know. I think it's over for him personally. I don't think he's gonna come back. Maybe he could rap.
I just gave you. He's coming up with an album. He is the gay Tupac, and he's gonna write about what's going on. So shout out to Jussie Smollett,
I'm mad at you.
aka the gay Tupac. Hey, he's probably dropping some bars.
Jesus.
All right, you guys. That's all for little Jussie Smollett. Just continues to lie. But, you know, there's some other creepy stuff that has been going on. Oh, I'm sorry, that made me cry. But there's some other stuff that's been going on in the news. This one is kind of sad to me. Because this is for real, I think, kind of a Me Too kind of thing, where what Jussie did was a lie, but this could affect people coming out telling stories about what truly is happening to them. And this is the story of Juan Dixon.
Yes.
The Coppin State part ways with Coach Juan Dixon, of course, husband of Real Housewives of Potomac, Robin Dixon, amid the team scandal. Have you guys heard?
He's been having these little rumors for years, though.
Okay, what rumors?
He's a creepy coach. He's looked at girls or has some sort of sexual misconduct or things like that with the students or the people that went to the school, allegedly. So that had already been floating around with his reputation.
Yeah. So let's go into it, because me learning more about the allegation, it is weird. Now, this, for me, what happened would seem to be kind of a hoax story, because it doesn't make any sense. But let's go into it. I'm not going to read all of this, but this is the guy. And this isn't the player. This is the coach, the other coach that got fired along with Juan Dixon. And according to the lawsuit, this guy right here in the middle, Lucian, that's so funny because it got the same name as old boy from Empire. See, look at God. Just making it all together. All right. Lucian Brownlee catfished a player online into providing intimate photos and texts and blackmailed him into videotaping a sexual encounter before publicizing the material when the player resisted demands for sex. This is the player, Ivan Williams. And according to Baltimore Banner, former player Ivan Williams had repeated online conversations with a supposed woman who asked him for pictures of his body. Williams agreed and kept on sending the woman, quote unquote, pictures and videos of sexual nature. After Williams refused to continue with the conversation, the women started blackmailing him, saying that if he didn't continue to send them, she was going to expose him. Now, because it gets crazy. He was sending pictures to a woman of his body and nudes. And he was sending some stuff, probably of him doing some stuff to his little Peter Racker, whatever. He stopped sending them. The lady said, "You gonna send some more, or I'm going to post everything that you sent to me." Things got worse as the woman in question told Williams to have sex with another teammate who was also being catfished and blackmailed. And when Williams refused to comply, the person released all of the intimate correspondence he had received. Soon after, Williams found out that there was never a woman, and the one he was having a conversation with was no other than his own assistant coach, Lucian Brownlee. So, after he was refusing to do some of the things, he found out that it was his assistant coach that was the woman in question and catfished him into sending him all this stuff. Isn't that crazy? So the coach catfished the player as a woman, was getting all the sexual stuff from the player. Oh, and the coach actually told this player, "Hey, I'm getting catfished too, and I got sent an information that if we don't have sex and we don't record it, then she's going to send out this stuff about me too." Williams approached Juan Dixon as the decision maker in the team, and he listened to the player but did not do much about it, according to Williams. Meanwhile, Williams lost his scholarship and had to leave Coppin State for another university. Brownlee lost his job and is now being sued by Williams, and it's not only Lucian, whom Ivan is suing, he's also taken hard legal action against everyone involved, including Juan Dixon and the university.
So it's not even like Juan basically allowed it to happen.
When the player approached Juan and said, "Hey, you are the head coach. Your assistant coach has catfished me, blackmailed me." And, from what I read is that he actually did do some sexual stuff to the assistant coach, and it was recorded. So the player Williams had some sexual encounters with the assistant coach, and he felt so bad about what happened. That's why he went to the head coach, Juan Dixon, and was like, "Help, because of everything that's happened,
He was probably making them.
Well, he started having, wanting to remove himself from the world ideas, and Juan did nothing." What are your thoughts?
That's sexual harassment. It is, I mean, I'm so frustrated. As a mother too, I would, man. Let me tell you this though, young folks and old. If you're having a conversation with somebody online, if they don't take it offline and you can see their face and interact with them, you need to stop. You damn sure don't send no intimate photos of yourself to anybody. Stop. This online stuff is getting y'all in some serious trouble. If you're dealing with somebody, one or two conversations at most online, then you need to move it where I can see your face and your lips moving.
Yep.
And hear your voice.
Yeah.
Yep. And I think it's also something where because he was in a certain position, you're doing something. It's not like it's a woman. Not saying it would make it better, but that's more of a natural encounter. More, something that's more normal. But with them having a homosexual encounter and then the other person initiating it to blackmail you, it's kind of like, you're doing these things because it's not even that you want to do them or you liked him. You're doing it because you feel like you're obligated to, because they hold something over your head. It could have been your career as playing basketball. So then you decide to go to someone else for help. And that person does nothing because they probably are into the same type of behavior. They probably both do it.
Yeah. Well, what also kind of came out that the guy, which is the assistant coach, Lucian Brownlee, had some mental issues before, and Juan Dixon knew about it. And people are like, well, why was he still assistant coach if you knew that he had some mental issues going on? But he was still there. And also, there's other reasons why I think Juan Dixon was fired. So it's not only this particular situation, but the basketball team had a few losing seasons, so he wasn't doing really a good job as being head coach. And then also all of the rumors about him and Robin Dixon from Housewives of Potomac. Now, for those that don't watch Housewives of Potomac, like myself, you guys know that they just recently got remarried. They were married, divorced. They are now remarried again. But during the nuptials, come to find out that he was cheating on her with a random woman and buying hotel rooms for the lady. And the lady hit up Robin Dixon in the DMs. Your man is paying for this. I'm with your man. So because of the rumors of infidelity, these allegations that he knew that there was a catfish and sexual assault maybe going on, Juan Dixon, and you losing, you got to go.
Well, going back to the mental health thing, again, depending on what kind of mental health, again, former reasonable accommodations program manager, you can't simply fire somebody on the strength of the mental health diagnoses, particularly if they are qualified to do the position with or without an accommodation. So depending on what the mental health issue was, they had no legal right to disclose that to anyone because those things are confidential. And as long as it did not impede his ability to do his job, that had no bearing on it. Now, the issue becomes if during they somehow found out that his mental health condition could deem him to be that he would harm somebody or himself, which he ultimately did. But when they think of harm someone, they're talking about, unaliving them. So him having the mental health condition was not enough for them to say anything or do anything. But once that young man made his outcry to the assistant coach, to the coach, he had a duty to respond, to act. He had a duty.
I agree. Lucky, any thoughts?
Yeah, I was thinking of maybe he was put in a spot when he was told this information because maybe him and the assistant coach keeps each other's secrets. So maybe he was used to keeping his secret. So therefore it was something where they, hey, can you take care of this man? And he's like, I got you. Just give me some time. You know what I'm saying? And you didn't have the time. So maybe he was trying to do something, but not where it looked like I was going against the fact that we keep each other's secrets. Because there's a lot of reasons why somebody publicly would look like they're not doing nothing fast enough.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? To something like that.
Because in my background, the moment that there's an allegation of such, the person is moved pending an investigation. The person is assigned some other duty pending the outcome of an investigation. But another thing, I'm sorry, I need to understand why these young men are in college. You can't meet a girl in college. You're an athlete. You can't meet a girl who wants to be with you in college. That's a problem for me. I don't understand why there is no social skills that y'all, and the reason why I'm saying this because the same thing happened to a young man, a football player in Virginia a little over almost 2 years ago. He was communicating with what he thought was a woman. Ultimately met the woman he thought was a woman, only to find out it was a man. And I'm like, and he unalived the man.
Oh.
So, and I asked the same thing. You are on a college campus with women, young women of all races. And when I was in college, Okay, I'll just leave it there. But the athletes got all the women. And you don't have to even try hard.
Well, the thing is just because he is an athlete does not mean he's not socially awkward or he's good in that area. That's a total different skill. Just because you play basketball, you think it would translate, but do they like talking to you past a few conversations? You know what I'm saying? Like those are things that happen.
You remember the NFL player that got catfish? So the term catfish kind of stemmed from someone in the NFL. I don't know. I don't remember his name. And this was a long time ago. I remember him being on Dr. Phil. And he was getting catfish and wanting to marry this woman that wasn't who she said she was. And he's in the NFL. And this is where the terminology of catfish came from, MTV, Catfish with Neve. And to still get catfish in this day and age where you have FaceTime and all this social media, to me, it's amazing. So I want to see the pictures of this woman. So even though he's in college, I mean, these pictures, she could have looked like, the goddess. And he could have been like, oh, darn, because he stopped. So maybe he stopped because he figured something was going on. And because he stopped, that's when they turned it up to the next level and said, hey, I got this stuff from you. If you don't do some sexual stuff with another man, I'm going to expose it. That's wild. But yeah, in 2023, there's no reason that someone should be catfished.
And I'm gonna go ahead and say, and go to parents. We got to teach our kids how to communicate. And again, there's obviously was some kind of communication going on to lead up to this young man sending him pictures. So the problem is they don't know how to take that texting crap to real life. So, we got to teach our kids how to communicate with each other because they don't know how to do it. This is shameful.
He represents the age range of the single male crisis as well happening. So
Oh, and you did a show on this, Lucky, as far as what men that are single or lonely or something. What was the stats that CNN came out with?
Well, they did it based on group, but it's over 70% of at risk, but it's increased 46%, I want to say, over the last 10 years. So they go from a 10-year span to check. Mm-hmm. So now there are new statistics where they're doing studies, and that age range of men have a hard time connecting, or they're not even trying to go physically out and approach a woman or something like when maybe you were in college and you were coming up, that was something you would get at girls. Now it's not the same. Like they don't even interact with them. Even when they go to parties, girls are dancing with girls, guys are with guys. There's no interaction. So
yeah. Oh, I used to hate those parties, especially in college where you would go and the men are all on the wall just looking and sipping on a drink, and then the girls are dancing. It reminded me like that's 8th grade dances. And when I saw that still in college, I was like, y'all ain't you don't want to talk to the females. We all here showing all our stuff and you want to sit on the wall. I never understood that, but that was a thing. So now I don't even think people are necessarily going out. They're stuck at home still, even though pandemic is over.
But their social skills are on the phone. So
and on the
YouTube. Interaction is easier because they don't have that verbal connection. That's why people can meet online. But when you start to meet them, those relationship statistics are dwindling because they're a different personality. You get to be more confident in different areas. Mm-hmm.
I feel so sorry for y'all.
New day and age.
I feel sorry for y'all because we dance with each other. And we had guys that didn't want to approach girls, but your Andy, I was like, hey, you want to dance? I was like, because sometimes they was waiting for a girl to ask because again, they were awkward and they didn't want to be rejected. So I would just go ask. I would spot my prey and I was going in for the kill. You understand me? So, not, but I feel sorry for these young people. But going back to your thing about having someone not want to come forward. I was watching the news the other day, or it was on my phone. Do y'all remember that case of the Hispanic young lady who was an Army soldier who was unalived at Fort Hood and by a fellow soldier, and they said that she had said that she was being sexually harassed by her leadership. Well, the 2 years later, they just came out with the results of the investigation and found that it was unsubstantiated.
Mm-hmm.
But what's horrible is because I believe that it was substantiated. And the problem is we have so many of women and men now who come forward with these complaints in the military, only for them to go through all this turmoil for the military to come back and say it was not founded.
Mm.
So that's why, and this has been going on for years.
Yeah.
Years. And so they say, and then we have all these programs for you to come forward, but you don't do nothing when people do. Mm-hmm. You play like you do. So we really don't want to do anything different. We want to look like we are.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sorry, I'll get upset with this crap.
No, I totally understand. And I think it is sad, our generation now, where people don't have social skills. I know I've met people from online, and then when you see them in person, it's a completely different. And, I don't know if the people are shy or just don't know how to communicate when it's one-on-one, but that's why for me, we have to advocate for people to get out the house and start talking to people. It's another reason why I think a lot of women are delusional, because they have in this romanticized ideology of what is a relationship. And they have these people that do hashtag relationship goals, and they see online what it looks like, but in real life, it's not that. But all you have to go on is in real life. But then when you meet them in person, you like, they some weirdos. I don't want that.
And the thing about if you are dating, y'all know I met Mr. Randolph online. We had our first few communications on the website, and then we moved off the website and had actual telephone conversations for hours before we even met, in real life.
About your
working and but again, and then so when we actually met face to face, we had established a connection because we had already communicated with each other. And to find out if we even kind of liked each other in the same wavelength. Y'all need to get away from this. And again, just real quick, I know you got to go to the next topic.
No, you're fine. You made me think of something, and I wanted to pull up something to get you guys real quick, because I wasn't going to talk about it, but y'all made me. But continue, TJ. I'm sorry.
Because going back, my daughter's 20 by 29. When she was in high school, I think she was a 9th grader in high school. And that's when I think the slow regression of communication started, because I remember her and her little friend, they got into some type of disagreement, and they were going back and forth, texting each other, back and forth, texting each other. And I said, stop. Don't text her not one more time. You get on the phone and you call her and you talk to her.
Right.
Then she did, and she said, Mom, I'm glad you told me to do that, because I was misunderstanding what she said. That was over 10 years ago. But me as the mother, because I do know better, I do know interpersonal skills. That's something that used to be taught in school, interpersonal communication. When I could see it going off the rails, I said, no, you don't text not one more time. You pick up the phone and you call her, or you go over to her house and talk to her. Okay, that's all I got.
I feel you. All right, let me get to a couple of the super chats. Thank you so much, Dane C. Speaking equals they got a documentary payday check. You have a point, Dane. The Sony experience, miss you on La Pief. Courtney, thank you very much. And Dane C. again, I thought they were Nigerian, and free Smollett. Free. He's free now. Making some good music.
I'm the gay Tupac.
Why don't you play that release again? Because you might have some new people who didn't hear it.
Well, for the people that don't know, Jussie Smollett has decided that he's tired of people talking about him and making documentaries. He has a voice. He has a song. He's the gay Tupac.
The new album by Jussie Smollett, Gay Tupac, presented by Lucius Lyon and Lying Daniels on Pinocchio Records, available now, featuring hit singles such as Guy, I'm Mad at You.
Cause guy, I'm mad at you. Guy, I'm mad at you. Boy, I'm so mad at you.
Hit him up.
And did Pinocchio Records throwing his nose. I'm like, yeah.
Hold on, let me pull it up on this end because the songs, the lyrics, I think is phenomenal. I think let me see the playlist because
by Jussie Smollett, Gay Tupac, presented by Lucius Lyon and Lying Daniels on Pinocchio Records.
The internet is undefeated.
Available now, featuring hit singles such as Guy.
All right, so it's Hit Him Up. Okay, that's track number 1. To live with guys in LA, not to live and die in LA, it's to live with guys in LA. From the back of LA? It's out of order. I'm sorry. Ooh. Brendan can't have a baby. Okay. Until the end of Tim. Guy, I'm mad at you. Tell Harry. Oh, Jussie. I get around by dudes. Keep your head down. Sex changes. All guys on me. And it's a bonus. Are you still down low? Only God can judge me. Hey.
What a playlist.
What a playlist. Shout out to Tupac, R.I.B. All right. So what made me think of this topic is that I saw this in the news a couple of maybe 2 weeks ago, and I wanted to speak about it, but I just didn't. I was just like, I was surprised. Deborah Lee, the ex-CEO of BET, you know, she has a book coming out. And she was on Good Morning America talking about her book, but then decided to talk about a situation I had no idea about. Did you hear that, Lucky?
Yes, but go ahead.
Mosaic Randolph?
I'm in the dark.
All right, I'm going to play this. This is from Good Morning America, and I want to get you guys' thoughts because she was spilling the beans.
Relationship with your former boss at BET, Bob Johnson. Right. So what is your advice about that, the power dynamics for women in the workplace?
Right. Well, I wanted to tell that story because the power dynamics are so important in a relationship, and especially if you're having a relationship with someone you work for. Right. And we all know the potential pitfalls. You know, I worked for Bob Johnson for 10 years before we had a personal romantic relationship, and he was a mentor and he pushed me, and you know, he's responsible for a lot of my success. We did have a relationship while we were both married. We ended up both divorced, and then people knew about the relationship. The company knew, public, we started going places together. The downfall of a relationship like that is if you want to get out of it. And that's the part where it came, and I wanted to break up. I saw it wasn't a long-term relationship, and my job and my career was held over my head. And
so I'm going to pause it right there. Did you have any idea that they were having an affair?
No.
Now, this was the old CEO. He left. She became new CEO. She's gone. She's CEO for 13 years. I had no idea that her and Bob Johnson was together.
Me either.
She could have kept this to herself. Right? What'd you say, Lucky?
Married?
They were both married during this affair. They are now divorced.
I think we've seen it enough, and also can acknowledge enough that she said she worked for him for 10 years before they did anything. That is another relationship outside of your house. And if you spend most of your time at work, and you see somebody believes in you, you're developing chemistry, you're actually having a relationship. So things can develop just strictly off emotions and actually start to happen where you feel like you're actually in another relationship because this person understands your career. So you start to give them, a certain level of respect, and in your marriage may not support you in that way. There's a lot of different things, or they could. You just have a different relationship. Also, she does have to promote this memoir.
Yes, she does. I am
So,
Deborah Lee, and she had to put something juicy
doing
in.
what needs to be done,
But this is what pisses me off is that for Deborah Lee, when I look at her, I look at someone that's poised and confident, regal, intelligent. What the people will call her Black Girl Magic. Her now coming out with this information, it puts a shadow over what I thought of her. Like now that I
Why?
did Deborah Lee, because I equate her to having integrity and character. And knowing that she was in a whole relationship while married with another married man for years. I just like, but get online and talk about how this Black girl, this and that and that, but you ruined a whole relationship, not only yours, but another woman's relationship.
But how do you know she ruined it? Like, I mean, I get we can see stuff, but the doors seems like they were both open on their marriages. So we don't know how those individual marriages were. We do not know. So it's just like the news situation where they coming out and saying we weren't happy. We can say they're saying that now. But just because people marry don't mean that they're in healthy, happy marriages where they like their partner. This is why other scenarios are able to develop, and then that her integrity can be questioned and things like this. But she's always carried herself a respectful woman. I don't think that just because she was a side hoe, you know what I'm saying?
A side hoe will make you a side hoe.
Right.
And
But
you
she's
carrying
intelligent.
yourself. I think it's, well, apparently not.
I wouldn't say she's unintelligent because she did something. That would mean that I would have to be unintelligent because I had a kid out of wedlock.
Well, that's an act. Now, if you kept on doing it, I got 5 kids, 5 baby moms to do, 7 babies and 7 baby mamas. This is your behavior. A mistake, okay. Your behavior for years, it's you.
You know how hard it is for people to develop bonds that may be unfamiliar and break them when they know it should be over? This is why I appreciate those times where people made music about it. It's easier said than done before you know you are having an affair. Right. Now, I'm not saying you accidentally, you know what I'm saying? Where one time you just on this drive, and most people who are in these type of relationships, they say it's the adrenaline as well. So you on this thing where, yeah, this is what I'm believing that I'm saying, but I'm also experiencing. Some pastors do it all the time. That don't mean he wasn't preaching the word.
Right, but it's still wrong, and they need to smoke just as long as she needs to smoke. She and I'm gonna keep on going in the clip because she said some more outlandish stuff in this clip. But it's who she is.
Well, also it puts a shadow on because it casts a shadow over. Did she reach her pinnacle based on her ability or based on her having a relationship with this man?
Mm-hmm.
And that, that's one of the things that I always prided myself on. I never have, I did that one time and that's how I got my daughter. But other than that, I don't have my honey where I make my money. Yeah, because the moment it goes awry, you still got to deal with that person.
Yeah.
So if y'all don't know, I don't have my money where I make my money, and that's real.
Mm-hmm. I agree. I'm gonna play some more into this. And again, I can understand liking someone obviously that you work with, but then I also understand boundaries. If you find out something about someone, then it's on you. And I've been in situations where someone didn't give me the opportunity. I had to find out stuff because I had to search and look. And then I'm looking like a fool.
Yep.
But
been there.
So I've been there, but I cut that shit off.
But look at Angelina Jolie. We still supported her after that. Nobody said, should we look at her as you still did your work. Yeah, you a side hoe, Deborah Lee. We see you was doing that. I don't know how long you've been done with them, put them boots on the shelf. I don't know. Maybe this is why you're doing a memoir. You know what I'm saying? But that was your truth. But also, I think that whatever respect she's gotten from her career, we should stop trying to conflate that with their personal life. Like, if you make a mistake, or I'm not putting this on you, but if you was in an abusive relationship, you know you need to leave. But if you need to cry to me 400 times this year before you actually leave to get back to yourself because you in something that you never thought you would be in, I would still respect you and say, you know, you're still who you are. You just lost your way, or you did something the same way I would say to some men. Like, they be with women who be abusing them, and it's like, dude, I don't know. I just think that.
Okay, can you? Okay, go ahead, TJ, because I have a question for you.
I agree with you, but the difference is when you are in a, you know, I mean, they said the same thing with Kamala Harris. You know, when you are a woman, it has a different look, because did she sleep her way to the top? And she may not have. But that is the scarlet letter that women wear that men don't.
That's facts. And they could sleep their ways to the top too, you know, in certain situations. Yeah.
And they wouldn't have any problem saying, yeah, I banged her. But as a woman, no, because that's a cloud over who you are. And so this, well, let me ask you guys, can you or should people separate your success from maybe transgressions of what you're doing in your personal life? Meaning that she's a CEO of a network. However, she's banging and having an illicit affair for years that caused, she said, a divorce and his divorce. Are we supposed to separate that from her being the CEO?
Yeah, because who's getting fired at BET because they was fucking each other?
Okay, well, look at TJ Holmes. So if that's the case, then TJ Holmes shouldn't have lost his job? Because what he was doing was personal.
Well, no, I'm saying if he was messing with different people where it got messy and it affected the brand, what they did didn't affect the brand, because this is why we can say we did not hear it. Now, if it did, slander her ass across the internet. But if you're doing something, they both were married and all, and it affected their marriages, not the brand or anybody that they hired. You know what I'm saying? Where the company had to do something about make an example out of their behavior. They are just two people. She wasn't sleeping with multiple men there. Right. She said she worked under him for 10 years before. So that means that we didn't even encounter each other on that type of time. And I could have been building my career for 10 years this whole time. And then we could have reached a success or whatever. And it was one drunk night. And that's how we started the relationship. I'm just, you know, giving a scenario. And then, you know, now they're sleeping with just each other. They didn't have other type of relationships, you know, so that probably could have been why it was less messy versus the other guy. He had 3 bitches at the same place.
Yeah. Well, I think when you get into really corporate America, your lifestyle is going to affect how far you go up in the company. So that's why you see a lot of these corporate pastors, whoever, have to get married. Because them being a married man means that they're responsible. And if they're responsible for home, then they are going to be responsible for the job. So when you get in higher end levels, your personal life affects your career life. And maybe this is the reason why she didn't come out and say it back then. But I mean, let me finish this. Okay. She said some more stuff on this too.
And it was like, well, if you want to break up with me, then you can leave tomorrow. And that was, you know, 20 years into my career at BET. So I would have lost everything. Yeah. I would have lost my career, my job, my ability maybe to get another job, because if I couldn't get a reference for the person I worked for 20 years, how do I explain that? And by that time I was a single mother with 2 children. So it was a tough time, and I didn't have anyone to talk to about it because I didn't have female role models. There weren't a lot of women ahead of me. You know, I was embarrassed to talk to my family about it. So it was a dark time, and what saved me was therapy. And eventually Bob left the company and I became CEO. And I was CEO for 13 years without him being there. And I was able
a lot of success.
Right. And to live my dream and without, you know, any form of harassment. So I guess after Me Too and Time's Up, I wanted women to know there's other kind of harassment. You know, it's not all a man coming to the door in a robe. You know, that's not the kind of relationship I had. It was one that grew into a relationship. You know, at times it felt consensual, you know, because we were out in public.
Okay, I'm going to pause that. So there's other forms of harassment. So for me, it's indicating that she's trying to say that Bob Johnson was harassing her. But yet he wasn't coming in the robe, what she said, but there's other forms of harassment. What was the other forms of harassment? If in the same sentence, you said it grew into a relationship. If it grew into a relationship, how in the world is it harassment?
It's harassment when she said, I wanted to get out of it. And you hold it over you hold my career over my head if I want to leave. That's the harassment.
I don't think that's harassment. If we're in a relationship and you break up with me, and this is my job, we separating ways, period.
Yes, but if she was not in a place to do that, again, the relationship should have been one thing, the career something else. Now, was it that way? No.
That's not harassment, though, is it?
It is. Yeah, it's the same. It is harassment. If I'm you're holding my career over my head you're holding our personal relationship, because I don't want our personal relationship, not that I can't do my job, but because I don't want our personal relationship anymore, you want to fire me that has nothing to do with my ability to do the job. That is harassment.
I want to hear that again. Did she say that he said that he was going to fire her?
She said that he held her job over her head.
I want to know. I'm going to play that again. I'm sorry.
I wanted women to know there's other kind of harassment. You know, it's not
it was
all
before that.
Okay.
Dark time. And what saved me was therapy. Reference for the person I work for.
Okay.
I would have lost my career, my head. And it was like, well, if you want to break up with me, then you can leave tomorrow.
If you want to break up with me, you can leave tomorrow.
And before that, when you first started playing it, she talked about that he held her career over her head. That's harassment. That's quid pro quo, because again, he determines her evaluations. And also, like she said, if she would have left, what kind of reference would she get from the man?
Nothing.
Exactly. So where is a woman gonna go after they've invested 20 years in a company and then leaves and can't get a letter of recommendation? That means you wait.
Okay, but these are when you get involved in a relationship. So again, they weren't doing anything for 10 years. And then all of a sudden she get into a relationship. And I'm pretty sure there is some fraternizing things that they had to sign in it. So anyways, if he would have said, you know what, okay, if you leave me, I'm going to put our relationship on blast and you're going to be fired and they're going to be fired. Then what? Is that still harassment? Because
she could have sued the company for if he would have fired her, because he was harassing her. Now, what was your question before that?
That's sticky. I don't know. Go ahead.
And I think too, and kind of like what Lucky said, you know, we don't know. I mean, there's no excuse for it, but we don't know what prompted them to take that step into a relationship since they both were married. Maybe there was a crack in both of their marriages, because again, you have 10 years when it was strictly professional. So they're, you know, and he was her mentor. So something, you know, we don't know. But again, the moment that she said, I don't want to do it anymore, you know, me personally, I probably would have started trying to plan my exit strategy before it got to that. But again, she didn't. And so, you know, thinking we can go back to the way it was, well, no.
And this is why you have the no fraternization in corporate jobs, because if someone gets out of it, then it makes it uncomfortable for the entire business. So yeah, like I said, I had no idea.
Me either.
Yeah. So let me I'll go ahead and finish the rest.
And that was, 20 years into my career at BET, so I would have lost everything.
Yeah.
I would have lost my career, my job, my ability maybe to get another job, because if I couldn't get a reference for the person I worked for 20 years, how do I explain that? And by that time I was a single mother with 2 children. So it was a tough time, and I didn't have anyone to talk to about it because I didn't have female role models. There weren't a lot of women ahead of me. I was embarrassed to talk to my family about it. So it was a dark time, and what saved me was therapy. And eventually Bob left the company and I became CEO. And I was CEO for 13 years without him being there, and I was able
A lot of success.
Right, and to live.
So what she's leaving out is, okay, if you felt, or if he said that, then what happened? So did you continue to keep having an affair until he left because you wanted to save your job? Or you did stop it and you still became the CEO for 13 years after Bob Johnson left? So that part she didn't say, which I'm
It's probably in
curious
her book.
on.
Probably in her book.
Yeah, probably in the book.
My dream, and without any form of harassment. So I guess after Me Too and Time's Up, I wanted women to know there's other kind of harassment. It's not all a man coming to the door in a robe. That's not the kind of relationship I had. It was one that grew into a relationship. At times it felt consensual, because we were out in public. But after Me Too and
at times it felt consensual. What does that read to you guys?
That means that she probably entertained an affair because she knew it would get her ahead in her career.
TJ, what does that mean to you?
Well, I think, like she said, we were out in public. At that time, it was consensual until she didn't want it anymore.
Or she didn't want it anymore.
Well, that's what I said. She didn't want it anymore. So, and again, if that's the case, he's saying that you holding my career overhead. Well, that's not consensual anymore. It's coercion.
Exactly. And he probably was trying to blackmail her with it.
Man, it's just such a slippery slope where we weren't in a relationship. We grew into a relationship now, even though it's frowned upon if he got out, and we were married. We're now divorced. He maybe lost his family. She lost hers. And now you want to stop, but you still want to continue on with your role and work for me. So where does it, and again, where is it where it's now I'm uncomfortable? Can Bob Johnson say, we had an affair, I am uncomfortable now working or having this woman work under me and I'm not with her?
Well, here's the thing. In leadership, the responsibility falls on who's the leader. So whether it be the military, private sector, the responsibility falls upon who is in charge, because it still could have looked at as what we call adverse action. And what that means is if he said, I want her moved. Well, that's an adverse action, because a lot of times it means that you're being moved to a downgrade in position. So that will be cause for legal action too, because again, that's an adverse action that's an adverse professional action based on a personal decision.
Man.
Oh, I'm good. I like my HR stuff.
That's that HR coming out. Let me see if we finish her up.
Time's Up came back, I sort of reevaluated the whole thing. I said, was this really my choice?
But you were so
Was it really her choice? I'm just hearing trying to escape from accountability. Was it her choice? It was your choice to open your legs. So now she's using the Me Too movement on this.
She's a victim.
You see, and this is where when she continued talking again, who I thought Deborah Lee was, and not that it just messed up her whole image of me, but I just look at her a little bit differently now from this conversation. Because now,
But why though? She's always took the position of women empowerment and all that. She's never been for men having a voice or the other possible way. Women are always the victim in her message. She's made one hell of a career by it. She's always stuck by that type of message.
Okay.
Well, I would say many years ago, my mom had a relationship, and the relationship was good for a while, but it came a time that she wanted to get out of it, but he was her boss.
Mm-hmm.
And she had me and my sister to take care of. So my grandmother said, do you know how you take your head out of a lion's mouth? Slowly.
Mm-hmm.
Because she kept trying to get out of the relationship. But again, he was her boss. So, it's wrong. It happens.
It happens.
So I'm surmising that she's suggesting here that when she wanted to get out of it, then that's when it became an issue. It was okay once we were we were all in the gang,
mm-hmm.
but once she wanted to get out of it, then it wasn't not necessarily consensual, because again, you felt coerced, like my mom did. Not to the same degree, because in my mind, I'm thinking you got all this. You could have done something. In my mind, I'm thinking, because she begged big money.
Mm-hmm.
But again, I can sympathize. I don't excuse, but I can identify because I saw my mother go through it.
Yeah.
Ended about it, and you're going to really help a lot of women who read this and have a better understanding.
Right. Yeah. So that was it. But yeah, when I saw that on Good Morning America, I was like, Deborah Lee. I had to give her a little side eye, because now it's like victim. But I'm like, Deborah Lee, what was you accountable for? If anything. Yeah, it was.
And again, that's one of the reasons that when I went into the military, and even after I got out of the military, because I was hit on in the military, I was hit on it. But again, I never wanted to feel or anybody to believe that I got to where I was in my career based on something other than my ability to do an excellent job. I never even wanted to be thought of.
Yeah.
So, and I guess for me, I learned that early, because I met my daughter's father in the military, and he was over me. So that was a relationship that shouldn't have happened, and it cost us both dearly. It cost him because he was in a position of authority, and it cost me because I had to get out of the program.
Mm-hmm.
So from that, I learned, I'm like, hell, not never again.
Not never again. What's that term? Don't sleep. What is it? Don't sleep where you shit, or something like that. Is that what they say?
Don't eat where you shit.
Yeah. Facts. And I think a whole lot.
Don't sell drugs where you sleep.
That is true. Make sure the trap house and the bando is not where you rest your head at. Don't do it at the bando. All right. So there is the last thing that I want to talk about. I love these kind of topics. Lucky, I know you do. So I had to save the best for last. And this could have been a whole show to get into music, possession, demonic stuff, but this is going to spark some stuff up here with Lil Uzi Vert. He is responding to the backlash after rapping "Make a City Girl Believe in Satan." Did y'all hear about Lil Uzi? Are you familiar with Lil Uzi?
Yes,
I don't know none of these people.
Yeah. What did you say, Lucky?
I said I'm familiar with him. He specifically says anybody who listens to him is going to hell.
Yep, he does.
That would be enough for me.
You would think it would be enough for the people. So yeah. This is what he is responding to. Let me before I go to that, let me go ahead and play what he said. And someone was recording this. I think it was like rolling out some music festival that he was a part of. And people caught a glimpse of that and was like, wait a minute, these lyrics are a little interesting.
I have another gift.
So what he's saying is that I make a city girl believe in Satan. And for those that don't know, he has been in a relationship with JT, who is a part of the City Girls for probably a couple, 2 or 3 years now. And so that was, a lot of people was making it a reference towards the City Girl because of what he said. Now she's came out and said on IG is that, you know, that was just lyrics and she doesn't take it seriously. He said that she was there when he did the lyrics. So he's not necessarily backing down. His response was not actually Satan, but just basically, I make a girl do whatever I say so. He said that his girl JT didn't think too much of it regarding the lyrics. I just say whatever I want in my songs. It's just like my freedom of speech. I come from a real religious household, but I just like me living my life and being like, I guess, an adult. I kind of just say, you know, anything I want to say. Now, you know, Lil Uzi Vert, these ideas of him being satanic, demonic, possessed has always been out there. I've always known it, even with his name, Lil Uzi Vert. If you put it all together fast, what does it say? Lucifer. It says Lucifer. So his name indicates the idea of the name of Lucifer. When you look at him, it looks like another entity or a demonic spirit is even inside of him. So him saying this, I believe it. I totally believe it. What are your thoughts, TJ?
What is that in the middle of his forehead?
So he got it done surgically, like a diamond put in the middle of his head. And of course, the idea of seeing the third eye that came from the biblical reference of Adam and Eve. So you eat this fruit, you gain knowledge. It was opening the third eye of knowledge, which he got surgically implanted in his head, the third eye.
I just think it, you know, I'm people that say it's just lyrics. Lyrics have meaning. Lyrics are poems put to music.
Right.
So they have meaning. And go Lucky, I ain't got nothing.
Lucky.
He looks like what he represents. I mean, I stopped listening to Lil Uzi Vert. He did a song with Nicki Minaj, and I hated it because I like Nicki Minaj. So I would just play her verse because he said anybody who listens to him is going to hell. People tell you, like, plain sight. People just choose to be stupid. She also, when JT started dating or making it be known that she dated Lil Uzi Vert, her appearance became a little bit more unusual. It was a little bit different. So he's saying what he represents. She does not represent nobody on moral high ground. You know, why are we sitting up here like, oh, it couldn't be the case? They represent the opposite of righteousness. So why are we sitting up here thinking that we should get some sort of righteousness out of somebody who looks like something
a demon?
I don't want to say
looks like a demon.
You know what I'm saying? It's just that's what you represent. So it's just like with Lil Nas X. Once people start representing stuff, we keep adopting it as our culture. We need to shut it out if you don't agree with it, or just let them do their little demon relationship. Maybe he's like Charles Manson, and that's which woman he dated. You know,
you took the words right out of my mouth, because I think the tattoo that he has on the tongue is the same tattoo that Charles Manson has, I think, maybe on his forehead.
But those things represent serpents. Everything is symbolic.
when they do these extreme things, everything is symbolic. Even in their music, it's symbolic. So
Yeah. So Charles Manson, I know you're talking about the inverted cross. Charles Manson had the swastika on his forehead. But a lot of people have that the upside down cross, which I'll get in a second. But he has this weird obsession with Marilyn Manson. And we all know Marilyn Manson he is a satanic. I think he's like one of the high priests in the occult.
that's why I meant Marilyn Manson. Charles Manson is a murderer, I think. Oh,
Yeah.
excuse me.
Yeah.
They're both crazy.
Well, they both demons. So he has this real affinity for this man. Again, he's a high priest in the occult. And let me play this so you can. He tells you from his mouth.
I have another gift for you, and it's right here in this little circular thing. What do we have for little Uzi?
It's my father, the Pale Emperor.
He is?
Listen here. At age 27, I will leave this earth for this man right here. He's the Pale Emperor.
Now, Marilyn Manson, he inspired your grills?
Yeah, that's crazy.
So he's saying to Marilyn Manson at 27, we've already talked about with Robert Johnson, the 27 Club, where 27 is the year that for a lot of artists, for them to get fame, they sell their soul to Satan. And at 27 is where Satan comes back and takes his soul. So what he is saying is that at 27, I will die for Marilyn Manson. He says it right out of his mouth.
But that's what I'm saying. We sitting up here trying to tell people they're not saying what they said. That man is absolutely aware of what he's choosing to believe in, and we see his career also. When you are in a time, this is strictly from belief. When you are in a time where you believe in spirituality, you believe in spiritual warfare, there's also something where you would also believe and understand that the opposite of righteousness has a limited amount of time to conjure up enough followers. So you have the idols that are in place to have to keep acknowledging more and more that they believe. Their voices are getting a lot louder because they are preparing for someone to come that they believe, right? So this is what we're witnessing in every aspect. This is played out in. You can't watch a Super Bowl without looking at a ritual. You can't watch a award show without looking at a ritual. You can't watch a TV show. You can't listen to politics without seeing stuff supposedly align y'all on two. One's wearing red, one's wearing blue, but y'all both on the same purpose. You can't hear about Bohemian Grove you can't hear about a lot of stuff that are elites, and everything points to be under one umbrella, like you said, New World Order, and to the point where we have political and political conversations that are mixed into our emotions of our sexuality. Everything is saying we're going to denounce what you know is righteous, and we need to uphold what you know is not righteous at an all-time high. And that is what then the people in between don't know either way, so they're just going with whatever makes money or in between. Let's blind you with this. You know what I'm saying? It's really what it is. They selling out in every which way.
Yeah. So, and this is for you, TJ. And then what it is, the inverted pentagram is more common symbol attached to the Church of Satan. Again, Marilyn Manson is the high priest of the Church of Satan and Satanism. But an inverted cross is also used, such as a satanic temple ceremony, unrevealing the Baphomet statue in popular culture, such as in music, movies. The upside down cross can mean anti-Christian and satanic sentiments, specifically for rebellion against social and political power in general. Oh, I remember seeing that in the movie Rosemary Baby. Do you remember that movie? It's in The Conjuring. Was that where the Marilyn Manson, those killings happened because of Sharon Tate?
Yeah, you talking about Charles Manson.
Charles Manson, right? So Sharon Tate and Charles, right? So, but then this was Rosemary Baby, and in that movie, Rosemary was pregnant, and all her neighbors was acting really crazy, and she would hear singing and songs, and her husband was crazy, and her husband sold that baby to the devil for, I guess, fortune and fame. And once that baby came out, she was having Lucifer's baby.
Lord Jesus. Well, you know what's interesting? I don't know if you've noticed. People have been making jewelry of
course, we've
crosses,
noticed
crosses to the side.
Fashion Nova, they have leggings, like they have coats like this that they patch the crosses specifically, but then you would think, oh, it's just upside down because the material, everything is designed.
Everything, yeah.
Even necklaces, they have it where their crosses are
to the
either
side,
inverted or to the side, like parallel, well, vertical or something. I know, but you know what I'm talking about. So,
but that they bad because you're not supposed to worship the cross. What you could put that thing all the way around with you under the cross. You know what I mean? People died on the cross.
Yeah. And this is the Uzi Vert with that upside down cross. They don't, like I said, and I say that this is becoming the end times because it ain't hidden no more. You don't have to hide this stuff. The devil is making sure you know who he is and you know who worships him.
They never hid it though.
But this was never done in the 80s and 90s. You would never hear it. As far as with black folks.
Okay. Now we got something.
Now
okay.
you had heavy metal.
Yes.
But heavy metal, that was the genre of these
dark music.
That was the genre of it. So anyone that wanted to rebel against their parents back in the day listened to heavy metal. So that was the music of rebellion. But now
it's hip hop.
But hip hop was never like this. But we've occulted to the I guess the idea of rebellion. So now this is what hip hop is, and hip hop has completely changed. Now it's demonic. These people look half crazy. How they love to talk about their drug use and being high and all this. It's just turned into what rock music is. Now this is what hip hop is the age of rebellion and against everything that's socially normal or you would think would be wholesome. And they make it, I mean, all his concerts has that inverted cross.
Lord have mercy.
So let's hear from the horse's mouth because like Lucky said, he tell you.
Did I sell my soul? I sold my soul for you. Now figure that out. Talking about I sold my soul. I sold my soul for you. For all you motherfuckers that's on here, that's asking me did I sell my soul, why the fuck is y'all on here if y'all think I sold my soul? Y'all coming right with me. Yeah.
You following me? I'm gonna lead you to hell.
In your face.
And he says this multiple times, and he's right. You follow me, I'm gonna lead you to hell.
Dummies.
You big dummy.
Right now, obviously all y'all motherfuckers going to hell right with me. So let's get it. Oh, you already here. I'm so sorry. You can't get out. You're stuck. It's over. You heard the song a million times and you didn't even know. That's fucked up. But I still love you anyway, though. It's okay. It's whatever. You still love me? You do? That's why I love you, because you don't judge me. I love you.
I tell you, I'm you stuck. You listening to me? You going to hell right along.
He's so misinformed. I don't care if people listen to your song a billion times. That's why I hate these sell your soul people. There's always redemption. There's always salvation. So you're stupid. If people can choose, I've heard that song a million times, but I chose not to listen. You know what I'm saying anymore? I don't even really listen to this type of genre anymore. I just listen to their lives or see like stuff going on, but I can't even tell you popular songs from him today. Just if he was featured with somebody I liked, you know what I'm saying?
Well, besides the song that I just want to rock.
Because of TikTok. I didn't even know that was
the
the
TikTok thing. But TJ, what's TJ looking disgusted?
I got nothing. I really don't. But I don't know. It's always, I don't know if it's the Bible, but we have to protect our eye gate and our ear gate. And that's one of the reasons to be honest. I don't watch scary movies.
Mm-hmm.
I don't watch because it processes in your mind when you go to sleep.
Yeah.
I don't do any of that.
Well, let me go back what you said, look, because you've said this before in other shows where some of this music, it's also the chanting. And we know chanting is something that, witches do. And to invoke spirits, you chant. So with people listening to Little Uzi Vert, and he's saying that, I make a city girl believe in Satan and all this demonic stuff that he does, with people or especially young kids that are saying it, don't understand the idea of how powerful the tongue is, and you saying these things will have an effect on you spiritually. And so that's why I think it's
we talking about kids who aren't raised in that type of household.
Well, I mean, but there's a lot of kids that are raised in this household.
Then they would have the structure that is set forth from that family to, even if they listen to stuff, it convicts them. What the hell is you know what I'm saying? To the point, you ever sung a song and you skipped over certain lyrics?
I do not agree. I don't agree.
I mean, that kids are smarter than we give them
rebellion.
Rebellion. But then they're gonna rebel regardless, because what I'm saying is they may not understand fully. Like I agree that their words could have some effect on their spirituality, but why does it matter if they don't even care about their spirituality?
Because I think with children, they don't know what affects them. And as its parents, that's what we're called to do, is to help. However, because we are single moms and not married, and moms have to work, we don't have complete control over our children. We have to send them out to the demonic world, the crazy world, where they are opened up to a whole lot of stuff. I know growing up, I grew up in the church with my family. I was a church girl. However, I listened to music that I used to listen to in the 7th and 8th grade and be like, why am I listening to this? Why in the world do I have Hardcore by Lil' Kim album in the 9th grade? There is no reason why I need to be listening. I don't want tonight. Eat my right at 13. Now, was I telling my mama I'm listening to this? No, I had a Walkman, so I had it in my ear. I don't want tonight at 13. What am I saying? Now, I don't know the ramifications of me saying this stuff at 13, but it's putting all kind of sexual ideas in my head. Did my mama and them know? No. Was I listening to it, sneaking it from my mama? Yes, that's what children do. And so the 13-year-old that don't understand the idea of listening to Lil Uzi Vert and getting those things in the spirit. There is a story that just came out too a couple days ago of 25 girls that was diagnosed with anxiety because they played with a Ouija board. I played with a Ouija board when I was 17 years old, and I had no idea what I was doing. And what I was doing was summoning spirits. I grew up watching The Craft,
but
and I thought it was cool.
Witchcraft. But this the part when we dismiss the things of kids. If they're at those kids at that age or teenagers, just because you don't know the ramifications of how deep diving into Satan you gonna get. None of us know that, but you about to find out. That's your personal thing. You know it's something demonic. Period. Whether you know how large it's coming, that's your damn fault. So if somebody is telling you something that you believe, they know what they're listening to. They know it's rebellion. They know it's something opposite. That's all they know, and they want to go opposite. Now, that is their personal journey to find out, to grow them outside of their parents, because that's what you chose to do.
Well, I think even when kids want to be rebellious, they're kids. And they don't understand that some of the stuff that we do, the big effect that it can have on us. Because when I played with the Ouija board and was summoning spirits, then a year later, I had some spirits come holler at me, incubus and succubus, and I dealt with that for years until I had to get prayed on and repent. But I had no idea what I was doing, and the pastor was like, "I don't understand why is this going? A demon ain't gonna just holler at you. You have to bring them in there. You have to summon them." And so I'm not going to say, hey, come on to my house, holla at me, spirits. No. But what I can do is play the music, and me singing it is an opening the door. What I can do is play a game that I saw in a movie and I thought it was cool. And then that's how I can bring them in my house. What I can do as a child, listen to Lil Uzi Vert, and even though it's rebellion, me rapping his songs is opening the door to these demonic spirits. And depending on who you are, whose child that you are, thank God I had a praying mama. Because if I didn't, then ain't no telling where I would be.
I think one of the things that's different too, and maybe it was like this in heavy metal, but I listened to it. I think we are at a time that it is so blatant in our urban sound that was left like you said in the genre of heavy metal. But now it is where our kids are when they're talking about worshiping Satan, and most Black people grew up in church where that was a taboo word to even speak of. So I think that's what we're seeing now, because it's just so out there and advertised freely.
Yeah, it is. So let me get to a couple of these super chats. Rakeem, thank you so much. Well, in Kanye West Jesus Walks video, he had a flashing ring of light over his head. I see Lucky has 2 wings on her back. LOL, synocracy or not? I didn't notice the wings. That's interesting. We'll get Lucky to expand on that. S4, thank you so much. I'm enjoying the show. Keep this going. I'll keep sharing. Thank you so much, S4. I appreciate that. I love this show. Let me just sidebar that. I think that it's just different. I like the topics. It's a crazy world. But I like everyone's opinion. So I appreciate that, S4.
You said expound on what?
Oh, I don't know if you wanted to. Where'd that check go? This was for you. You got 2 wings in your back. You're talking about your picture in the back.
Oh, like angel rings?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what's his problem? I shouldn't have angel wings? Because Kanye West had something that Jesus walks. Like, what are we saying? I don't know.
He'll probably put some more in the chat.
Yeah, I don't understand.
What? Dane, I read yours already. You took a bathroom break. Okay, Dane, I read it. Now. Yes, the Lil Uzi Vert. Do I think he's the buck? Yeah, I do. What am I not to believe what he says? And again, he's telling you, you listen to me, you trap, you listen to me, you dummies. If I'm going to hell, y'all going along with me. And that is the goal. Is to take as many to hell as the devil wants. And I don't know. That's kind of sad, but it is what it is. And I guess that's why I'm a believer. But anyways, you guys, it has been trill. Shout out to Jussie.
I'm the gay Tupac.
Who says the gay? Why? No, you're not. Jussie, you ain't no Tupac. You soft, bruh. Soft. But anyways, you guys have any word before we ended another show, another Saturday?
As always, it was a good day. I'll be having a lot going on because we're 2 hours ahead, but we still make it work.
Yeah. TJ, you got something for the people?
Yeah, I encourage you. I mean, we appreciate you, tuning in, but I would encourage you to get out and interact with people today, this weekend. Tear yourself away from your social media and interact with people. Look them in the eyeballs,
Absolutely. Shout out to Better You. Oh, sorry. There you go. Real talk. I was a dumbass kid and did a lot of stupid stuff. I'm thankful for prayers of my family. I was covered when I didn't know better. Amen. And that's what I think a parent's job is, to be the covering for their child, because the children don't know. There's some stuff I still don't know that my mom has to check me on. And I'm 21. Dare you to say so. Thank you very much. Say what? I'm 21. Anyways, you guys,
Well,
it
your
has.
skin looks great.
It does. It does.
Thank you. It's a Negro remedy that I use at the house. I will maybe try to put a little something together about my skin care. Anyways, you guys, it has been real. Thank you so much for joining the crew. We really appreciate it. You guys, shout out your pages. Where can they follow you? Of course, it's always linked to the description, but go ahead, you guys, shout out your pages.
Sure, my channel is She's So Lucky, where we have real conversation that's diverse and we welcome all smoke. Now, I'm organizing it, but organized smoke.
Organized. I got it.
I am TJ Randolph. You can follow me on Mosaic with TJ Randolph on Instagram and my YouTube channel. I don't want smoke. I ain't got time. This is I share, experiences of my life. I comment on certain things that are going on in pop culture, but I try to share experiences of my life to kind of help some people not make the same, decisions, or to let them know that if they made those decisions, that they're not alone in them. So that's what I'm here for. I'm your middle-aged Mary Auntie.
Mary Auntie. All right. And this is your girl. I am Courtney Michelle. You guys, please like the video, subscribe if you haven't. And yeah, we are out. Until next week, you guys. Say what? It's been real. Thank you.
The new album by Jussie Smollett, Gay Tupac, presented by Lucius Lyon and Lying Daniels on Pinocchio Records, available now, featuring hit singles such as Guy, I'm Mad at You.
I'm the Gay Tupac.